Big name support in South Florida.
You're going to re-elect Ron DeSantis as your governor of your state?
On the eve of the midterm election, some college students,
as a citizen, it's my right to choose who I want to represent me in office,
using their right to vote in a general election for the first time. And after piling up points, the Dolphins turned to their defense with the game on the line. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Good morning, South Florida. I'm Julian Davis.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Today is Monday, November 7th, 2022.
Live from the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
Separate stops for two possible 2024 presidential opponents. While former President Trump was here in South Florida endorsing for Ron DeSantis for governor, DeSantis was holding a different event in the Tampa Bay area.
The network's Samuel Rodriguez Garcia was at the former president's speech last night and reports from West Miami-Dade.
President Trump speaking last night at 10 Miami Park, just steps from FIU's main campus.
The people of Florida are going to re-elect the wonderful, the great friend of mine, Marco Rubio, to the United States Senate. And you're going to re-elect Ron DeSantis as your governor of your state.
Here at the Save America rally, former President Trump endorsed Marco Rubio once more. He also endorsed a plethora of Republican candidates for state and local elections. Additionally, in a surprising move, he endorsed Ron DeSantis for governor of the state of Florida. Despite the support in the governor's race, DeSantis, while speaking near Tampa yesterday, seemed like he was running a presidential campaign, never once mentioning his opponent, Charlie Crist, but instead going after President Biden.
The issue with Biden is that the problems that we are suffering under, inflation, energy, open border, are problems that he created through his policies.
If DeSantis does go for the White House in 2024, it will likely be against the man who endorsed him last night. In West Miami-Dade, Samuel Rodriguez Garcia, South Florida Media Network.
College students pushing to make a difference in this midterm election. As the network's Alexander Howard reports, it's a group that historically has not had a good turnout.
An estimated 8 million youth will turn out to the polls for this year's midterm election. Newly eligible voters between the ages of 18 and 19 are college students that will have a pivotal impact in the electorate. Today we're looking into why college students in South Florida are turning out to vote and the issues they care about.
well, it's my first time voting, so it means a lot to me. And as a citizen, it's my right to choose who I want to represent me in office and someone who can, express my ideas and concerns.
Compared to previous midterms in the past, expectations are high this year for the college electorate to vote in record numbers. Florida youth, especially young Latinos, are also expected to deliver a challenge for incumbent Republican Marco Rubio, as Floridian youth have an above-average turnout in previous elections and usually vote Democrat. In 2018, key issues such as gun violence were the main concern for young voters after the events of the Parkland shooting, especially here in South Florida. But because of the recent overturning of Roe v. Wade, college voters are more focused on political matters involving abortion rights this midterm season.
Access to abortion, and I think that they'll be related to my vote by making sure I'm voting for people who also have the same values as I do. And looking at like some of the past court rulings and things with, I guess, the Supreme Court justices to see that they're doing their job well and in an unbiased way.
There's no doubt that these college students will make an impact in democracy, but only time will tell if it stays true for future elections. I'm Alexandra Howard reporting for South Florida Media Network.
Today, elections officials across the U.S. are reassuring voters that election locations will be safe and secure when they vote tomorrow. For instance, the Georgia Secretary of State says his family was threatened after he upheld the results of the 2020 election. Now, the state has an election app where voters can report issues encountered at voting sites.
The Miami Dolphins taking the win out of Windy City after the game against the Chicago Bears. In this electrifying high-scoring game, the Fins were able to maintain the lead from the Bears. On the other side, Bears quarterback Justin Fields led in this week's rushing yards. It was not enough, however, for the dynamic duo Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, who had the 2 touchdowns and 228 receiving yards between both of them. The final score was Dolphins 35 and Bears 32. The Dolphins will come back home to face off the Cleveland Browns this Sunday at 1 p.m.
The Florida Panthers tasted victory last night after beating the Anaheim Ducks. The Cats played the away game in California, breaking the tie during the third period and ending the game with a final score of Panthers 5, Ducks 3. The Panthers play at home again this Wednesday against the Carolina Hurricanes at 7 p.m.
Tonight's Powerball jackpot is heading into the stratosphere.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
We have a credibility problem, all of us. We're talking, and we're starting to act.
Leaders in climate change from across the globe gathered this morning to address the issue. Stick around, we'll be back in just 2 minutes.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
If a natural disaster shows up at your doorstep, you can't just turn it away. That's why it's important to prepare for emergencies before they show up. Go to ready.gov/plan to find the tools and tips you need. And make a plan today.
You really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sea level solutions up for discussion this morning. Eyes are on Egypt this morning as the UN Climate Change Summit entered its second day of discussions.
COP27 began yesterday in the city of Sharm el-Sheikh, where 122 global leaders are meeting to address the climate change and the future of the planet. Earlier today, former Vice President Al Gore spoke the importance of holding world leaders accountable.
We have a credibility problem, all of us. We're talking, and we're starting to act, but we're not doing enough. It is a choice to continue this pattern of destructive behavior.
The summit will continue for the next 2 weeks, where negotiations and workshops will take place.
Tonight, the Powerball lottery jackpot is reaching a new high. After getting to $1.6 billion and not having a winning ticket last Saturday, the Powerball lottery jackpot grows to $1.9 billion. The lucky winner will get to choose between having a lump sum worth of $929.1 million or $1.9 billion split into 30 payments over a span of 29 years.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
And I'm Julian Davis. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.